Alright, what is up and welcome to week 3 of Fill of the Week. I'm sorry about the little delay with this week's lesson. I know it's a few days late, but I was away over the weekend. I was in Germany, played at a little drum festival, and everything went great. It was a lot of fun. Now I'm back home in Sweden again, ready to film this week's lesson for you guys. So, today we have a suggestion from Gabriela Mendes, who wants to see some kind of fill involving a 6-stroke roll. And coincidentally, the 6-stroke roll is my favorite rudiment. It's something I use in fills and grooves all the time, probably a little too much sometimes. So today I want to share my favorite fill using the 6-stroke roll. So let's have a little look at what this fill is. I'll play it fast for you and then break it down to slow and medium tempos and then play it fast one more time, and then I'll play it in 2 different groove examples so you can hear kind of what context you could use this fill in. And if you guys want to support me and check out hundreds of more fill lessons that I have available, go to the link to my website, which I'll leave right up here or in the description below, and I hope to see you in those lessons as well. So let us dive in. Alright, so now as usual, I want to give you guys a few little tips to keep in mind as you're practicing this fill or as you're trying to come up with similar fills or maybe change it up for something of your own. So the first thing I want to talk about is this fill is basically built out of 3 smaller groupings. You have a grouping of 9 strokes in the beginning. It's a 6-stroke roll plus a right, left, left at the end. That's 6 plus 3, which gives us 9 strokes in total. That's the first group, and then we play the exact same thing again. So another group of 9, and then we have just a 6-stroke roll at the end, which is a group of 6. And if you look at what all these numbers combine to, it's 9 plus 9 plus 6, which gives us 24, right? So the whole fill consists of 24 strokes. And if you look at what the subdivision we're playing in, it's 16th note triplets, right? So 16th note triplets gives us 6 strokes per downbeat. So we have a bar of 4/4, because this fill covers 1 full bar. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. For each one of those beats, we're going to play 6 strokes. It's a pretty fast subdivision. All of that together adds up to 24, and so does this fill with 9 plus 9 plus 6. So my point with this is, as you're practicing or as you're trying to, maybe this is a tip more specifically for trying to make your own fills, keep this in mind that you can go about creating fills that way too. That's essentially kind of how I came up with this fill, was I was experimenting with the phrasing of 9 plus 9 plus 6 and seeing how that turned out in a full fill, and it happens to be that the 6-stroke roll and a right, left, left fits very nicely into that. But keep that in mind as you're trying to come up with fills of your own, or maybe trying to change these kind of fills that I give to you guys, that you can work with numbers like that. Think of the whole picture, look at how many strokes you have available, chop them down into smaller groupings, and then put them back together again and see what you can come up with. So now let's talk about a tip pertaining more to playing this specific fill that I just showed you guys. So since you're playing this fill on the rack tom and the snare drum, and you can play it on any tom that you want, but this principle would be the same. You're moving your arm out to hit some drum or a cymbal with a bass drum underneath. You're just gonna throwing your arm out and you're coming back to the snare for the majority of your strokes. So in that kind of motion, that can be a tricky motion to get down at faster speeds. And again, it doesn't matter where you hit, because the motion will be the same. You're playing here, doing a lot of these little stickings, and then you're throwing your arm out and you're coming back in. So my tip for doing that kind of motion, because this is basically what's gonna either ruin your flow or help you have a good flow with playing the fills like this. So what I want you to keep in mind is, as you're doing that kind of motion, moving out like that, don't think about it so mechanically. Like, don't think that you're doing right, left, right, left, and then you're like, move your arm, hit, and move your arm back. And it's not so robotic. Think of it more kind of like you're just throwing your arm out, and it's hitting the drum as you're throwing it out. So think of it like you're handing out like apples to people. You're like, hey, have free apple. This is going a little weird, but bear with me. Think of it like you're throwing out apples to people. Like, hey, have some free apples. You're not gonna like throw them in their face, right? You're going to kind of just, here you go, have some apples. It's kind of the same principle here. Just kind of throw your arm out, let it hit the drum, and come back. Of course, you wanna kind of snap it a little bit with your wrist at the end to get some extra power. Otherwise, you're just gonna be throwing like a limp fish on the drum. So this is getting really weird, but I hope you understand what I mean. Flow is very dependent on that you let your body kind of just naturally move from place to place. It doesn't have to be so mechanical. So I hope that makes sense. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson. Again, this is my favorite fill to play, my favorite fill involving a 6-stroke roll at least. And this phrasing of 9 + 9 + 6 can go really far. You don't have to fill it with a 6-stroke roll plus right, left, left. You can fill those 9 strokes with whatever you want, and it's going to sound somewhat similar because the phrasing remains the same. The numbers are still there. So, hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. As always, make sure to leave a comment. Let me know what kind of fill you will want to see for next week, and I will have a look at all of that before making next week's lesson. So, take care, guys. I will see you in not quite a week, actually a little less than a week. So, hopefully I'll make next week's lesson as planned on Monday, and I will see you guys there. Take care. See you soon.